What's going on, folks? We've got another replay for you guys today. This is going to be a PVZ, except this guy's playing random. It's the Protoss player HCAZ? Or is it HCAZ? Or is it just HCAZ? Going up against TimboSlice. And yeah, this was a ladder game sent to me by Timbo. Why is there no sound? I don't hear anything. Oh, there is sound. Okay. Yeah, PVZ sent by Timbo, like I mentioned, and he did stream this. I do remember the outcome, but not all the little things that happened, so that's what we're going to take a look at. Now, I do have to note once again, this was a random player, so Timbo doesn't know his race just yet. I don't think this Overlord saw that probe. But Timbo just going his usual hatch first. You can basically do that in every matchup. Sometimes your opponent will do some cheeky stuff, but usually you're pretty safe. And probe's going to come in. Timbo's going to be aware of that. Gets the surround, gets the citizens arrest, picks off that probe. Timbo once again with the drone surround onto the scouting probe, and sometimes even gets that onto a Reaper, which is super impressive. Not going to be seeing any of those in this game, however. Now, HCAZ, that's what I'm going to be calling him. Not sure what his name is, but that's what we're going with. He did open up with kind of an odd wall. He got a pylon on the outside gateway, the cybernetics core. Wide open door here. Very risky against Zerg, but maybe he just scouted enough from that probe and identified that there's no rush coming his way and that this wall is safe. I still don't like it. I don't really understand it. Maybe Protoss isn't his strongest race, because you do usually see the pylon go down somewhere over here. Then you can get 1, 2, 3 buildings, and that's much safer. If I were looking at this wall, I would just reactively throw down a baling nest, bust down this pylon here, run in lings, and that's an easy game right there. You can also send some lings to harass this outward pylon, and again, HCAZ building his buildings very strangely. Shield battery on the outside, very awkward, very easy to pick off. You can even get that with like a Roach Ravager attack. You send a few biles over here, hit both of these buildings at once. Anyways, that's neither here nor there, because Timbo, not a very aggressive boy. Not going to be doing a Bane bust, not going to be doing a Ravager bust. Going for a third base here. Pretty good timing. Floating a lot of money. Why do you have almost 6? He was at 600 before, and it's only 3.5 minutes in. So, yeah, Timbo, you got to work on that, buddy. HCAZ now going Dark Shrine. Twilight Council into Dark Shrine. This is about as fast as you can get it. So he went Gateway, Cybercore, Twilight Council, Dark Shrine. Of course, he did go for the Nexus, so that delayed it a bit. You don't really see one base builds too often. And Timbo, very diligent with his scouting. That's one thing he does very well. Floats this Overlord on in. He's going to spot that Dark Shrine. Sees the Twilight Council researching. Now, of course, that could be a number of things, but that's got to be on Timbo's mind as well. And HCAZ, with the knowledge that Timbo has scouted it, is he going to change his strat in any way? No, he's going to let his Dark Shrine finish. Gonna warp in one DT Oh, not even warping in, because he didn't get Warp Gate. Warp Gate very delayed. It's got to be a mistake, right? So yeah, just producing slowly out of the gateways. Also getting a Warp Prism, so it does seem like it's going to be a DT drop. And Timbo preparing for this. He's got 3 spores already, 3 overseers as well. That's a little bit of an overreaction, I think. And look at the workers. Timbo only just now inching back ahead, 45 to 43, and now 52. But for a while there, he was actually behind. And that's never what you want in a ZVP, or ZV anything, to be quite honest. 5 random stalkers out in the middle of the map, gonna get caught. And actually, I feel like you could have gone for that, Timbo. Just like, probably could have gotten more stalkers, if not all of them. 2 Dark Templars here, that probably would have put a stop to that. But now he kind of wanders up the ramp, sees the Overseer and pulls back. Timbo doesn't chase, actually. Another slight mistake there. Probably could have chased with the Overseer and just surrounded everything. I mean, look at these armies. That's a lot of Lings. That's not a whole lot of Protoss here. So, seems like a pretty easy hold here for TimboSlice. Warp Prism, no micro of Warp Prism. Could have maybe picked up the DTs to save them, but no, gonna lose his entire army, is HCAZ. Very nice pick off by TimboSlice there. And gonna go for a Roach attack. So there's 2 things you can do when you defend an attack that convincingly. You either drone up and just secure a bigger lead, or you go for a counterattack. Timbo's going for the counter, and honestly, these Lings by themselves might be able to do it. 11 Roaches going to be walking across the map. This base, I think HCAZ is going to have to give this up. But he does have some more Stalkers walking over from the natural, so maybe, just maybe, might be enough to hold this off. The Lings not really participating, need to focus everything. Reinforcing Roaches show up as well. Where's the rest of them? Still streaming across, but that should be more than enough for Timbo to break this position. Wait, what are you doing, Timbo? You could absolutely take this base, but he doesn't do so. That's a big mistake there. That's one thing you always got to keep an eye on. Just eyeball the armies, and this is not a very scary army. He didn't even have this Immortal before, and Ling Roach Ravager eats this up really easily. Yes, we have the benefit of this observer interface. We do know that Timbo has a much stronger army, but even just looking at it, it's pretty clear that the Zerg army would have won that. In any case, Timbo does pull back. He is down on workers once again. Not what you want. A lot of money in the bank. Gotta work on that, Timbo. I don't know how we can fix that, but it's a huge problem. 4th base. Wait. I thought he was gonna get it, but just getting the gases, you do kind of want the base as well there. And yeah, like I said, drone count not really up to snuff here. This 3rd base not even fully saturated. And another thing I mention quite often, just throw down the 4th hatchery. You don't even need to drone it up immediately. Use it as a macro hatch. And then eventually you have that base ready when you're ready to drone it up. Kind of awkward here. 2 extractors with nothing going on. That's 2 drones that could have been mining. That's 150 minerals that could have been spent on other things. And HCAZ just kind of running away in the economy front. His army not too crazy, but look at his work is 58. He is preparing for a 4th of his own. He's got Colossus tech on the way. Nice a little contaminate there. Very underutilized ability from the Overseers, but it's a good one. Delays that production for, what is it, like 20 seconds? I don't know. I play Zerg and I don't know this. Don't at me. HCAZ coming in for an attack, wandering onto creep. Timbo has full vision of this. Now he has Ling, Roach, Ravager, Hydra. Gonna get an okay surround, but HCAZ blinks away. And this is still a very good fight for TimboSlice. The Lings kind of thinning out. You do want to replenish them. Another thing Timbo has to work on is replacing his army as the fight happens. Now there is a bit of a lull, and he does start up 14 more Hydras. I don't think that is the right choice. You don't want to OD on Hydras, but this is Timbo we're talking about. You do typically want more Lings, maybe throw in some Banes as well, because Hydra's way too squishy. Roaches, they don't really do a whole lot of damage. They're very clunky, they're very supply intensive, not very good after the mid game. And yeah, Lings, super cheap. You get 2 for the price of 1. 4th base finally going down for Timbo. 5th as well. And I can't get over these 2 extractors. That's so funny. They've been up for minutes now, just doing nothing. HCAZ throwing down his 4th as well. He's got 1 Colossus. More on the way. Triple Forge. That's pretty cool. You rarely see that, but I like it. Protoss, of course, have 3 upgrades you can get from the Forge, so just go triple Forge, why not? All of their ground units benefit from those upgrades. And no further tech from HCAZ just yet. No Templar Archives, no Stargate just yet. So it is just going to be Gateway Colossus. And that's fine. That's honestly a very formidable army. And Timbo just going for Ling, Roach, Ravager, Hydra. No Banes, but he is taking up 2 Lurkers, which is one of the strongest units in the Zerg arsenal. So that's a very good choice. And Timbo also did get 1-1 for both weapon upgrades. That is the correct thing to do against a ground-based Protoss. But hold that thought. Timbo going for a big attack onto this newly minted 4th. Does snipe down the Colossus very quickly. That is good targeting. Well, wait, hold on. Alright, not getting that 2nd Colossus for quite a while. Gets a bunch of free shots there. Not the best engagement from Timbo, honestly. He kind of just wedged his way up in there awkwardly, trying to force his way up. But not terrible either. Like, he did get a lot of stuff, puts the pressure on his opponent. But look at the worker count. What's going on here? 46 drones? This is Timbo we're talking about. This guy over drones, and in this game he is doing the complete opposite. So we actually see HCAZ with the supply lead. Timbo actually just evening it up as I say that. But big attack from HCAZ, and Timbo doesn't really have a good enough army for this. Like I said, Roach, Hydra by itself, not very good. Stalkers also do bonus damage versus armored, by the way, such as Roaches. So pure Stalker, gonna be pretty good. Lings, that's exactly what you need, and they do come in just in the nick of time to fend this off. So pretty clutch there from Timbo and his Lings, but he's not out of the woods. In fact, I think he's very deep in the woods. 52 workers to 71 of the Protoss. And the Protoss is taking a 5th as well. He's got his upgrades chugging along. He's got very potent Colossus tech, which actually he is kind of delaying right now. I wouldn't mind seeing a 2nd Arobo facility off of HCAZ. He's getting some observers right now, researching that observer speed. And Timbo does have his Lurker Den, getting his Lurker upgrades, those very important upgrades. Needs to start getting some Lurkers, though. You have the money, you have the Hydras, you have the supply. Start getting some Lurkers. And the drone count still so low. I'm not sure what Timbo is really scared of, but it feels like he's kind of been scared this whole game. He saw the DTs and he's just kind of been apprehensive. And finally, morphing some lurkers in. That's a very good number of lurkers. Don't know how many that is. 10? 10 lurkers. That's a good number of lurkers. And HCAZ, look at his army here. Kind of not too scary, to be honest. No really high-tech units in here. I don't know why he stopped with the Colossus. Could also make disruptors, perhaps. That would be very helpful. Disruptors, technically the counter to lurkers, but so hard to use, so I don't blame him for not getting that. And some decent blink micro. And he just blinks his entire army out of there. But these lurkers, they're a huge problem. HCAZ doesn't have the necessary tools right now to deal with it. And I think Timbo, if he had a better economy, he could kind of just roll in with Lings, Roach, Ravager, and these lurkers and probably close the show. HCAZ doesn't really have anything too scary right now. He is trying to get 5 Stargates up, but that's not going to be up for quite some time. So Timbo going for an attack now. This is a little questionable. You don't have too much over here to protect these lurkers. He's got a couple Roaches, a single Ravager, 4 Hydras, and these units could absolutely just take out the buffer, and then lurkers by themselves, not really too scary. You can kind of just blink on top. Yeah, you might lose a few stalkers, but it's totally worth it if you clean up all the lurkers. Reinforcing Hydras, they are gonna help out, taking on out this 5th base and pulling back. I respect that a lot. You don't want to overcommit. You got that nice little victory. And yeah, you don't need to dive too deep. Timbo does do that sometimes, but doing a good job here, pulling back, resetting, preserving your units. You want to get more stuff, and 18 lurkers in production. That's a lot of lurkers. And HCAZ with maybe the perfect timing that no, not quite. Lurkers finish just in the nick of time. They burrow, and HCAZ has to get out of dodge. But he is taking another 5th here and a 6th as well. HCAZ doing a very good job rebuilding his economy, but his worker count has been knocked down to 60, which is not terrible compared to Timbo's 64. And Timbo, he does have 5 bases, but yeah, main is essentially mined out. Natural essentially mined out. 3rd was never fully saturated, to be honest. But here comes Timbo with another attack. Gonna deny the 6, perhaps. And gonna burrow right in front of the natural base. Lay siege to these Protoss units. HCAZ doesn't even want to deal with that. He's going for a counterattack himself. I feel like Timbo should just go for a base trade. 1 Void Ray is out though, and that will take out all these lurkers given enough time. There are no Hydras in this army. HCAZ going for the counterattack. Gonna take out this, was it 4th? No, this was the 3rd base. Take out that 3rd base. Timbo does evacuate his drones, so doesn't lose too many of them there. And Timbo gonna pull everything back. Oh, I think he should have just left those Lings there, wreak havoc into the main base. But HCAZ setting his sights onto that 4th, does take that out as well. Doesn't want to engage the lurkers, and might even be able to get this 5th as well. That would be huge. But Timbo with an accidental surround there, kind of. But blink, pretty good ability. Gets on out of there, and another accidental surround, kind of. Maybe I'll give Timbo the benefit of the doubt. That was planned. You got it, Timbo. That was a good move. But does preserve this base, and HCAZ gonna walk back home with his tail between his legs. Lots of money on the Protoss side as well. So both players are not really too good on the macro front. Timbo does have a slight lead in that department right now with 50 to 46. And he does have 1, 2, 3, almost 4 bases. HCAZ actually has 5. 6. Whoa. Okay. But worker count actually in his favor as well. So never mind. Scratch that. HCAZ doing just fine. Timbo's army, however, is way cooler. The lurkers pretty good. And he's coming in for an attack on these 2 bases. HCAZ very out of position. Could just go for a counterattack once again, but no, he's going to pull back. And Timbo, sieging his lurkers, going to take out all of those probes. Down to 33 as HCAZ takes out that base. And this base needs to go down as well. Not too much mining here, but why not just take it out? And Timbo does. HCAZ doesn't really know what to do, and I don't blame him. Lurkers are just so strong. So he's going to go for an attack as well. He does have to clean up some of this creep. And you might think, but you just want to go. But look at this. He's sitting on creep. Timbo has full vision. We're looking at the vision of Timbo right now. And he has full vision of this. He knows exactly what HCAZ has. He knows exactly where he is. He knows what angle to come in from. And here he comes, Timbo, sieging his lurkers, but Blink once again proving to be so good. And HCAZ is gonna snipe this base and gonna need to blink on out of there. Yes, good job there. And I think that's the right move. Don't engage lurkers. You don't have the necessary army, so just run away from them. And Timbo, he does usually like to defend. I feel like he could have gone for a base trade multiple times this game. But I don't really blame him either, because he does have the technically better army, lurkers. And these lings, they could have been doing a whole lot more, but now they're going to get found by DTs. They're all going to go down. Oh, never mind. 3 of them maybe will get away. But HCAZ taking the supply lead, 151 to 129. HCAZ is down on workers, but up on army. But once again, that's a little misleading because the army is not too sophisticated from HCAZ. Timbo with his lurkers. It is very hard to go for a fight, however, because these units are pretty slippery. Zealots with their charge, Stalkers with their blink, and yeah, just gets on out of there, doesn't have to fight it. And Timbo going for another attack onto this base here, burrowing his lurkers, and HCAZ can't really fight this. I feel like he needs to find a way to perhaps snipe these overseers, then he can let his DTs do the rest of it. But Timbo does snatch that base. This base very out in the open as well. Timbo can absolutely go for that, and it looks like that is exactly what he's doing. Gonna take out most of the probes, all of the probes, and down goes that Nexus as well. HCAZ cannot attack into that. So what does HCAZ have left? He is running dry on the income. He never really got those Stargate units up and running. Only has those 1, 2, 3, I think, Void Rays. And Timbo going in for the kill, perhaps, leaving his lurkers unprotected because they don't need protection. These are some bad boys here. And Timbo now setting his sights for the main base. And Timbo loves to do this. Just walk straight in, funnel all his units through the smallest choke point. And these Void Rays could potentially do a lot of damage, but it's just too little too late, I think. The rest of the Protoss army, they could have gone for a counterattack. I think that probably would have been the better choice instead of running back to deal with these lurkers. But HCAZ does come back. He does have to run up his own ramp. Positioning from Timbo a little awkward. I would have liked to see maybe some lurkers over here holding the ramp, but it doesn't even matter. HCAZ does have to tap out, and Timbo takes a very scrappy game there.